Welcome to Sherpa Chai Podcast again, and I'm here with Iwara, and we're just gonna talk about some general things, right, Iwara?
Yes, Pemba. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. Welcome. It's good to see you here.
Yeah, I wanted to let you know I worked at a cafe actually for about 2 years while I was in college, and we would go through bottles and bottles of the Sherpa Chai every single day.
Okay, what cafe was it?
Foolish Craig's.
Oh, please correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We still deliver lots of chai there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with some of your story, and you coming here from the Himalayas and some of the work you've done to give back to your community. I wanted to ask you a few questions actually about maybe a crisis that region of the world might be facing today with the rapid change in climate and your experience, the knowledge you have on that.
Oh yeah. I mean the climate change is it's a real. It's funny actually. You asked me these questions. Uh, this was even before I came to Nepal. I was a guide in Nepal, in the Himalayas. I guided in the Himalayas for 30 plus years throughout the Himalayas. And even before I came to the US, I was a guide there. And each time I go back to Nepal, go to the mountain, I see the changes in the mountain. Every year I go back. And I was fascinated, right? And then I heard about this climate change and all that stuff. Then I came to the US in the early 90s. And I came to Denver and I heard this guy from France. I think he was from France, was giving a talk about climate change here in the Boulder bookstore. And I really wanted to listen. Back then I didn't drive. I wasn't driving. So I took the bus to come listen his talk. And and I took the bus and come to listen his talk. And even back then there were like only 10 or 12 people in his talk.
Oh wow.
So climate change is real. It is real. And even here in Colorado, the Marshall Fire, all those catastrophic. Look at in Florida, Pakistan, India, all those floods. It's real, and I think it's a problem.
Yeah, and so you've seen the effects of it both here and back home. It doesn't.
It's Look, climate change is real, and it will affect everybody in the world, and it's just not distributed equally. This is what I believe, and and I don't think there's anybody else to blame except human. We us human, and like I was saying that even since the early 50s, the scientists and the climate has warned human, right, about this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But human continue to ignore. And like I say, in the early 90s, I came to the US and I came to this talk about the climate change here in Boulder Bookstore. And there's only like dozen people. Whether people didn't care, or I think people, or they don't believe it, or I think people do believe it. People just don't care, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a period where people probably didn't know about it. There was like this mass ignorance until we started to understand that we're tearing a hole in our ozone layer of the atmosphere. And I think since that time that you went to that seminar, we've become more aware and
Yeah.
conscious as a society and as a human species of how to better take care of our Earth. Do you see that there's been like a change since you went to that talk and how just the general public addresses and feels?
Yes or no? I personally think we as humans are too selfish. And I also believe there's something deep problem in human culture. Look, what's happening here in today is not created by Earth, and it is not created by animal. It is created by us, human. And and it is a real, right? And I think we human created because the human is selfish and keep uh, ignoring like what scientists and planet have taught us or told us for many, many years. And it's, I hate to say this, it's kind of sad to say, but somewhere it is kind of too late, for us to fix this.
I think,
And
yeah, I think when you zoom out, it feels hard to like almost have control over these
right.
things, because at the end of the day, you look at all the systems in place in our world and feel like, well, I'm just one person. How do you think as an individual, like anyone who may be listening,
Yeah.
can take this in
Well,
their own
look, this is
hands?
what I believe. This is not something you and I can fix it.
Yeah,
All human have to take step in and do our fair share. And like myself, I try to do my fair share all the time. Whether it's recycling or I try to ride bicycle to work. Every day if I can.
sure.
Sometimes I can't. I have to drive because I'm running late or whatever. But I try to use more bicycles. In fact, I just got a bicycle accident
Oh, really?
couple of weeks
Oh,
ago. In
wow.
fact, I was in the hospital and
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was knocked out, but I'm okay now. But
Okay, that's
anyway,
good.
I personally think more people ride bicycle and people should really focus on, recycling properly and things like that. And yeah, yeah. I mean, I personally think we're living in a, you know, in a problem world.
I
You
like
know.
what you said though about the root of it stems from selfishness.
Yeah.
The thing about selfishness is that is something that's in our control as
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah.
That's something we can focus on.
Yeah. Yeah. And so people I mean, everybody have to believe it. This is real, and we all have to do our fair share. And there's such a thing as a truth, and truth really matter.
It does.
Yeah.
I want to get your perspective on how you've seen, you touched on it a little bit at the beginning, how you've seen there's climate change and the general change of environment impact the environment back home in Nepal. What have you seen? What have you witnessed?
Oh yeah, impacted a lot. You know, I mean, even over the years, like I say, I guided 30 years in Himalayas, and I of course grew up in there, and all those glacier meltings and all those mountains are they are covered with beautiful snow. They are black rock now, and it's
Wow.
for me, it's kind of sad to see it every time I go back and like, oh, you know, and yeah, and the Himalayas, the many tourists go there, and I think tourism is good. They need the tourism. That's how they rely on their economic, and it does give people opportunities. Somebody like myself,
Yeah.
because of the tourists, I was able to work with the tourists, and I was able to make connections and come to the West, and create myself a better life, and learn more things and whatnot. But in other hand, environmentally, the lodges, they're using wood fire to cook for the tourists. And tourists, they leave trash up in the mountains. And back in my grandparent generations, yes, they are very poor farmers. They have nothing, but it's fine, to survive. They drink like this clear crystal glacier water every day. Now they're drinking polluted waters,
Oh, wow.
and because of that, the babies, because the water is polluted, the babies are dying. They don't know it. It's from the polluted water, but the fact is, your baby died because you know your baby drink of bad waters.
How is the water becoming polluted?
Well, that's especially like the to the Everest area. There's uh, not such a thing as a sewage system set it up properly,
Mhm.
and that's a huge problem. I see it. Like, for example, like Everest Base Camp. I mean, right now, I mean, we're talking about thousands of people in the season in Everest Base Camp, right? I mean, all those people always have to go somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So what happening is all those things end up melting down to people drinking water.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wrote a book called A Bridging World, and it's just, I wrote a lot in my book about what's really happening. And because I do wanted to bring some awareness to the people, hey, this is what really happening.
Sure.
And someday, I mean, I'm hoping to go in the government level and see I can fight to fix this, at least the system. I mean, it's a doable, I mean, they need tourists, but it just have to be done it properly. I've seen it in Denali National Park, the Yosemite National Park. I mean, we need those kind of, they need those kind of technology, to make things right.
Yeah. So like I'm hearing on the one side you have this influx of tourists in the recent decades. And in some sense that does bring awareness to the
Yep.
region. People
Yep.
now have a personal connection to a place that you call home. But on the downside, there needs to be more infrastructure to support.
Exactly. Yes.
There
They
needs
need
to be-
tourists. I think tourists is good.
Yes.
They do need tourists. It's economy. They rely on the tourism economy, and and but like you said, but the infrastructure had to be done it right, where it doesn't affect the local.
Yeah. So
That's how I see it.
you seem like a very solution oriented guy. I mean, I read about how you built a bridge because you saw a problem and
Yep.
you quite literally bridged a solution. So
Yep.
what is your in the best possible world, right? The best possible solution. How do we create this infrastructure for the tourism
I
there?
really don't think it's a rocket science things. I think they need some Western knowledge and Western technology. You need to train the local there and just build it, right? And bottom, in the bottom line, it's all come down to money, right? And I don't know what that would cost,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to cost huge to just have like septic system or like proper toilet systems or
Yeah.
proper sewage system. I mean, people do it all over the world. I mean, like many developed country, many rich country have all these things set up. And I see that in my home country or hometown, uh, this is something must.
Is this something you think the government of Nepal
No.
would?
Yeah, the government in Nepal is, I mean, it's just not there.
Not there.
They're just unorganized and not. I think they're educated, but they don't really seem to. Even with the money they are collecting from the Everest expedition permit fee, they should be able to easily do this. I mean, they charge like $15,000 a person to climb Everest,
Wow.
which is lots of money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like we're talking about. I mean, these days, I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of climbers. They climb Everest. I mean, they're collecting over 40 million a year just permit fee.
Wow.
And I really feel that those money need to be used in the Kumbu, where I came from, to build right infrastructure.
And you'd think a percentage of that would maybe go towards just a fund that would create that
You would
infrastructure.
think so,
You'd
right?
think.
You would think so. But like I said, I wrote this book to give awareness, and someday I'm hoping to go in the government level and see I can make some changes.
The U.S. government?
The Nepal government.
Nepal government.
Nepal government.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, hey, look,
Yeah.
and these are the problem here, and these are the issue we need to fix.
So I want to ask, I know that with climate change and the rapid changing environment, it can create safety issues besides pollution. There's just environmental safety issues like over flooding, unstable glacier lakes that just keep growing and growing because of the
Yeah.
melt off.
Yeah.
Do these, obviously you said pollution, but are there any other risks that these changes impose on your community or communities nearby?
Yeah, I mean dryness. I mean lots of people. They rely on their craft and sometimes there's too much rain, or sometimes there's no rain, and that's definitely affecting it. In some year, this so dry that people can't grow anything. I mean, that's their livelihood. I mean, they
Yeah.
rely on those crops, right? And it's a huge problem. It is a serious problem, I think.
And how about like ice climbing? I know that I mean the
Oh
change
yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
cause
Oh
instability
yeah.
and
In the places
in the
where you used to,
ice and danger
all the
for
oh yeah,
tourists.
all those things are, I mean, melted now. I mean, put it this way: the Himalayas I seen growing up, or 30 years, 40 years ago, is very different from Himalayas today. That's how even from my eye, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm sure there was a lot more change before
yeah,
that
yeah.
that you weren't around to see
Right,
because this has been ongoing.
right.
Probably a very different region from what your grandparents knew
Yep,
compared to you
yep,
as well.
yep. So, but yeah. Anyway, I think we're living in a very interesting world, and for me, it's kind of sad to see like what's really happening, around the world. I mean, I travel around the world, and I live in many different parts of the world. Yeah, and I've seen lots of world, and sometimes I think, I mean, uh, sometimes, I'm sad to see like, especially the environmentally, how we are destroying the earth,
Sure. How I was wondering, how do you use Sherpa Chai and just your business in general to increase awareness of this problem? Because you have the influence, in a place like Boulder, which goes a long way. A place that is very environmentally conscious.
Yeah, well, Sherpa Chai, I mean, we started a company, 10 years ago. And since then, I mean, we have built in like a local level. Like, for example, we built suspension bridge there. We helped build school there. After the earthquake, we helped build 282 houses. And I don't things like that. But as the company grow, and I start, once we start making some money, but I do like to step in more by, environmental level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think as for myself, someone who has never traveled to that area of the world, it's important to hear
Yeah.
your story because it's a very real story.
It is, yeah. It's like I say, I travel all over the world. I grew up in Nepal. I live in India. I live in Africa. I've seen the world, and I really believe that more people in the world really need the awareness and need to step in. Especially like country like China or India, where they have a world factory. I mean, I go to some of those city. I look through my hotel window. I mean, the pollutions, you can literally can cut it with knife. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
And compared to that, the U.S. is, I mean, you don't see those here that much.
Yeah.
At least you go to like Los Angeles or some of those big cities.
Yeah.
But here in Colorado, I mean, once in a while you see pollution, but it's we're living, we're breathing pretty clean air here.
Which cities in particular did you see that type of smog in the air?
Bangkok is pretty bad. Delhi, really bad. Shanghai, I've been to Beijing. I mean, yeah, I just put a marks, and when I travel in all those places, the pollutions are so bad.
I'm sure you have to. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's very bad
Yeah,
to breathe in.
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I feel bad for people. They have to breathe those bad air every day. I'm sure it's gonna reduce their life expectancy too.
Yeah. When you come back to the idea of selfishness. Like why is there even this pollution to begin with? Is because industry and just with the industrial revolution, it just created a whole system of mass production, and it
Yeah.
creates mass pollution.
That's one of it. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's ironic to me because that we evolved in this way because it created wealth and it helps us to survive, right? but it's doing the opposite effect in some way as well.
Yeah,
The
it
very
does, yeah.
the very thing that is also helping us survive,
Yeah.
which is, you have to give credit. It's probably creating a lot of jobs, and it's probably giving people a warm bed to sleep in. And yet there's a shadow side to it.
Yeah.
There's a dark side to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, some way, like many of the wealthy countries or many of the rich countries are creating this. And what really affecting is many of those poor countries, who don't have nothing and we didn't really create that, or are affecting it.
I mean, you don't see
It's kind of sad and kind of too bad some way,
it is sad. You don't see it affecting middle America. The average person in Boulder, Colorado
Yeah.
will continue to live comfortably
Yep.
when there's other destruction happening elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, the climate, we get hot or cold or the temperature, things like that. But here, I mean, we don't really have to rely on like we're not having a food, because there's no rain or
Yeah.
too much rain or things like that.
Yeah. It's good to see someone who's actually doing something about it as well, because I'm sure in Boulder, it's a very hot topic. People love to talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that are doing things about it.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to just talk about it and have political debates about it when you're in the comforts of your own home and it's not affecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true. Very true. Yes. Yeah.
It's very easy to do that.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Yeah. I really believe that everybody in the planet have to understand and take a step saying, look, we all have to do our fair share. Whatever it is, whether it's using less, much, pollution material, like I say, riding bicycle or using public transportations or, reducing electric and, I think there's lots of things many people can do in their, in the individual level, and everybody have to do it. I think you and I be okay. In our generation will survive, but our students, our grandchildren's, I'm worried about their generations. And it's a fact. The climate change is real. This is a fact. And it will affect everybody in the planet.
Yeah, I guess the downside of human nature is that we kind of see the here and now. We focus on the almost like tunnel vision of what's happening right now, making ends meet right now, point A to point B.
Yep.
Got to take a step back and see the bigger picture.
Right.
50, 100, 200, 500 years from now, what's the world going to look like?
Yeah. Yeah.